You're watching Lansdowne Road, the voice of the fans. I'm Martin Prendergast, joined by Martin O'Neill's number one fan, Conor McAvoy, as we catch up with the latest news in Irish football. It's a live show, so we want to hear from you, the Raw faithful. So get involved this evening and spread the word about our live show coming up. How you doing, Conor? We haven't got the little intro thing, so we've got to jump straight into this. How you getting on? You all right? How's your week been, Conor?
Grand, yeah. Just floating about in social media, just seeing how people are getting on. There hasn't been much drama on our Lansdowne Roar account. Even you've got some of the abuse for, even though in that clip you didn't even say it. You didn't even say it, and you just had it for, you got abuse for your accent. I just got abuse from everyone, but no, I was loving it. It was good crack. I still stand by what I said, but I'm sure there'll be a few people in the comments who will think the opposite.
Yep. So welcome to all our viewers this evening. If you haven't subscribed already to the show, please do hit that subscribe button. It does make a big difference to us, and spread the word about Lansdowne Raw Live. This is your interactive number one Irish football podcast out there. We want to hear from you, the Raw faithful, on all things Irish football. So if there's any player you want to ask Conor about, because he is Mr. @Rep Tracker, so he does know everything about Irish football, of course. But you can ask him about any transfer speculation. We're obviously going to cover that, but we want to hear from you, the Raw faithful. Let us know your views on where you think Irish football is. A disappointing performance last night for the women's team against America over in the States, where they lost 4-0 again. So we'll cover that very, very briefly. But we will also be speculating about the latest transfer news. Is Evan Ferguson on the move? And a one-year extension for Sheamus Coleman, our leader, who we believe will be going to the World Cup. Or we hope he is, although Dave, who's not here, doesn't want him to go. So, so we did have a bit of an interesting reaction to our last show, which many of you, I'm sure, who follow us on all our social platforms, on X and Facebook and everything like that, we did clip a little bit of that show, and I would emphasize to everybody, the clip went a bit viral, went a bit crazy. I think over 120,000 views of that alone, and it was really Conor having a rant about Martin O'Neill, basically moaning about he was just having his say on the appointment of, the pending appointment at that time of Keith Andrews for the Brentford job. And we were just being a bit critical, I think, is to be fair, of Martin O'Neill just being very negative constantly about Irish football and holding this grudge. The clip, as I said, over 120,000 views. We got called out for it, even though it was Conor's rant. And I started to back away from the responsibility. But in all fairness, a bit of an overreaction. I felt some of the insults were highly questionable. I mean, I think my parentage was brought into question. There was criticism of our looks, and my English accent, of course, got a bit of criticism as well. So yeah, it was a bit of a fun time for us on socials, wasn't it, Conor?
Yeah, I actually stand
by it. Are you going to apologise? Or are you standing by it?
No, I apologize. Absolutely nobody. The thing is,
we're going there already.
The thing is, what I said is true. It's just people who didn't watch the full episode would have got caught out of context, because the clip may have took things out of context, but that's the purpose of clips, really, isn't it? So no, but it was funny because in fairness, Martin, I read about 3 comments of them all. I read barely any of them. I've only really read the comments that people have sent to me that are funny ones, and then the ones I haven't even seen the comment of people laughing at you for your accent. So it's just because you said it the other day, but no, I just find it funny. It's
one of my favorite ones was a ginger and an Englishman. Nobody's. Who are these clowns? Who are these muppets? There was a lot more abuse than that, but look, that's what we're about.
I know. Do you know what I got a very funny one, Martin, on Rep Tracker. Someone that follows, he was like, "Who even are these guys? It's the first time I've seen them on my page. They must be clickbait merchants." Like, yeah, that was a Rep Tracker on your screen. That's who you're following. That's who you're asking.
Oh dear, I liked it. I was feeling quite good about myself, because a lot of people were going, "What are you on about? Martin's a legend. Martin's a legend." And then I realised they're actually chatting about Martin O'Neill, and I was trying to clip all those little bits and send over to you, saying I knew I was number one on this pod. So, but no, it was about Martin O'Neill. Just very interesting defenders of Martin O'Neill. I mean, look, I'm not backtracking on this. I think he's far too negative about Irish football and clearly does hold a grudge. But I'm not going to knock his managerial experience, and what he's achieved as a manager is phenomenal. But it was in a different generation. And again, I'm still going to continue in this relevance of 2 European Cup wins. yes, me and you haven't won anything in the game, have we, Connor? But we still have an opinion, as we want our Raw faithful to have this evening as well on us on a lovely, warm Monday evening here. With just short of 1,000 viewers at the moment. So let's get over that, and we'll catch up with you all and get your views on Irish football. So, Connor, that was an eventful kind of week for us. And, Dave is still in his bunker, even though he wasn't on the show. He was not going to be complicit in having any association with us at all. But I suppose we'll start with, obviously, we're going to go through the latest news in Irish football. And let's not forget that we've got big games coming up September, October, and November. If you are new to the pod as well, or new to the show, just to let you know, we are match going Ireland football fans. Yes, I have an English accent. I'm based in London. Connor, where are you based?
London.
That was being questioned as well, I'm sure.
Was it?
It was, yeah.
Oh.
And there was a little bit more about, you lot hate Nordies and stuff like that. I don't know where that was coming from, but I think that was obviously Martin O'Neill. But no, look, we're match going on football fans. We just do this for the love of it. We're not. We may think we're clickbaiting because it generates us money. I don't know where this money's coming from, but
all going into Dave's back pockets. He tells us,
yeah, exactly. But we do this for the love of Irish football. We're very passionate supporters of Irish football. Match going fans, as I said. Connor and Dave often do a show from inside the ground on every home and away game, traveling around the world watching the boys in green. I'm there as well as a supporter, of course. And I'm also the club chairman of Risk London in London, obviously. And we go to games, obviously, like many of you here watching this evening. So very passionate supporters of Irish football. We are brutally honest, though. We know the FAI watch this. We'll call them out for things we think they're making mistakes on. We'll call out players for not great performances. But we ultimately want to see Irish football do well and promote that. So that's what we're here for. So we do want to hear from you. We think why we do this as well. We're available for you, the Irish fans, to get involved with. Give us your opinion. We want to hear from you. We don't think there's enough of that out there. We don't want any more. We want to be the main focus for you as Irish fans, so you can get anything off your chest. Give us your view as well on any topic. We have to obviously be a bit careful. I see some comments coming in already, which will have to be very delicately managed later on. But we do want to hear from you. We're not censoring you. We just want to hear from you. Right. So a little bit of transfer news. And also, I think this is a nice little positive story to start with. This is Sheamus Coleman at Everton. And it's just been confirmed that obviously they're moving to their new stadium. And Sheamus Coleman has signed, as expected, I think, a 1-year extension to his Everton contract. So that is incredible, I think. How many years is he at Everton now?
17.
We need someone on this who's a big Everton fan, don't we?
17 years.
Yeah,
17 years, but he's a longest serving player in the Premier League now after this season. I think it's the second longest at one club across Europe. So it's mental what he's doing at this stage of his career. He's not just a leader on the pitch, he's a leader off the pitch. What he does in the change room for lads at Everton, what he does, I'd say for lads even in a personal life, he's one of them fellas you can lean on the shoulder and ask a question to. He sets the standards in training, sets the standard on match day. Even when he's injured, you can see it. Even epitomizes him. But you remember a couple of years ago when we all thought he broke his leg again against Leicester and he got stretchered off and he was there riding up the away fans in the King Power to get them pumped up. So the Everton lads didn't drop their head when he went off injured. So it's brilliant to see Martin sign that new deal. I think it's deserved. I think if he stays at Everton until he's 60 years of age, he better keep getting offered 1-year deals because you just can't let that man go. What he offers around that place is I don't think there's a price you can put on it. And as always, he will lead Ireland into the World Cup next summer, which I have no doubt we'll be there next summer and he'll be captain us. Whether he's playing or not, I don't know, but he will be in that squad. He'll be leading us in September, guiding us to 6 points over Hungary and Armenia, and that's that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I absolutely love Sheamus Coleman. I've met him on a few occasions now, but just absolute leader and legend. I think it's a big inspiration to a lot of Irish footballers or kids growing up as well, just seeing him. And I've never heard a bad word said about Sheamus Coleman. But interestingly, he's a fiery character. You've seen him have little spats with Ronaldo and stuff, even with Harry Maguire and things like that with Man United last year, I think it was. He's quite, He's not as volatile as our Dave, of course, but he's got a bit of that in him.
He's a winner.
Yeah, we love that. Yeah, he's a winner ultimately. And look, a fantastic servant of Everton, and I'm delighted now because I think moving to that new stadium is a big thing. That continuity. I mean, he's been involved with so many managers there at Everton now, and they've always seen him as a leader and welcomed him into it. You know, I know he was an interim like assistant manager, wasn't he? At Everton last season, I think
100% win record, doesn't it?
Yeah,
when they beat Peterborough.
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, yeah, look, we could speak all night about Sheamus Coleman, but yes, so underrated as well. Fantastic player and servant for Ireland. So
it's only Koke is the only player that has served at a club longer. An extra 6 months he's been at Atletico Madrid.
Yeah. So we're being very positive and glowing about Sheamus Coleman. Let us know your comments. Do you think if Ireland qualify for the World Cup, will Sheamus be leading us out there in some capacity? And that's going to bring me on to another question actually of you, Connor. I don't know if we know this, but you know, the squad sizes for these tournaments now, you can see as well, the Club World Cup's on at the moment. You know, it is a big challenge, isn't it? These weather conditions, there's lots of talk about that, you know, interruption of games over there. I've not been following it too closely, but exactly this time next year, well, a few weeks kind of short, the World Cup will be underway in America. We'll hopefully be there. We will be there. I'll correct myself. Do you think they're gonna FIFA? Have they speculated that they're gonna increase the squad size from the normal kind of 23? Will it go bigger?
I wouldn't say so. I don't think there's any really reason, Martin, because the reality is you're going to play 3 games is the minimum you're going to play. Most countries in the end will play 3 games. Like, are you going to use more than 17, 18 players? Very unlikely, even if you win the whole tournament. Managers are managers. They like to stick to a squad. They don't want to change it. So I'd be highly surprised if they did. Maybe if they brought up to 24, 25, but I don't think it's going to make a difference to how many players a manager is going to use in the tournament, really. But it would be interesting to see if they did or not, because obviously the weather doesn't favour probably countries like Ireland when everyone's as white as me. But yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. Like with the tan, it's going to be,
be
topping up over there.
Dave, I could imagine Dave in the tan, getting the sun cream on, putting it all over himself with the factor 50, shitting himself. Oh, I'm going to get this. He's out in the sun for 5 minutes and he's covering himself in it. You've seen me in Luxembourg, Martin. I'm not scared of no sun. I fight the sun. I'm a real man. I'm not scared of no sun. Do they not know who? Does the sun not know who I am?
We're going to cover a little bit now. I was just going to come on to the football from last night. Actually, I didn't actually catch up with this, but Ireland lost 4-0 in America last night to Emma Hayes' US team. This is the second loss that they've had on this tour. I was trying to follow it, but I was out and not out boozing or anything like that. Which you know, like you two think I'm out all the time on that. But I looked at that though. I think, you know, it was a very dominant performance. Looking at the stats of it, 73% possession in the US. I mean, they're an incredible side. I've seen a lot of kind of talk today, kind of trying to follow it, kind of fallout from the game. I do like the new kit. I think that was quite nice there, which is shown in that image that we're putting up there on the screen. But you know, it's total dominance. Ireland had 3 shots, you know, totally outclassed in a sense. Like, it was almost 3 times the amount of passes from the US. You know, this was an Ireland squad that didn't have, you know, Denise O'Sullivan didn't feature.
She played last night.
Oh, she did. Yeah, sorry, she did. She didn't feature in the first game, though, did she?
No.
And then, you know, I know that we're missing Katie McCabe, like our true class player, I think. I was looking at it, though, because, you know, I make no secret of it. You know, following the Irish women, I think a player I've wanted to do very well was, since we interviewed her on the pod in the past, was Ella Malloy. And I was disappointed that she didn't get any game time over there at all. And I could see with, you know, I was speaking to people today who follow the women's game, and they were saying, you know, they weren't expected to win. This was an opportunity to kind of galvanise their camp before their next qualifiers and things like that. But I was probably a little bit disappointed with that. And we've also saw the breaking news simply earlier. Rusha Littlejohn she's left Shamrock Rovers. Connor, do you know any more news on that and what's happened now? Putting you on the spot.
You know, you and Dave are just expecting she's had some falling out with someone, but it seems like she's just wanted to move back and play in England in a full-time environment, really, which the Women's League of Ireland isn't. So I'm guessing she just wants to go back to a full-time environment.
Yeah, I can understand that as well. You know, I can honestly, but yeah, I think it's just disappointing for the women over the games that they got 2 hammerings basically. But incredible
4
side,
shots across.
the US.
Did 4
Yeah,
shots across the 2 games, only 1 in the first game. So,
but I think I've also heard as well, like a lot of people questioning Carla Ward, even the decision to do that, and oh yeah, O'Sullivan didn't play last night. Thanks for.
oh, she not. I thought she was
I'm
back.
pretty sure she
She was
wasn't. She had
back
the
in.
first one. Yeah.
I thought she was back in the squad last night.
No,
I missed the game as well.
don't doubt me. Don't doubt me, Connor. But you know, I just think you know, Carla Ward is under a bit of pressure now. You know, we've had a few heavy defeats. You know, she's going to need to get the best out of Katie McCabe, and also Denise O'Sullivan. The top players have to play, so it's going to be interesting to see how they get on. But yeah, we thought we'd give a mention to that, and hopefully the women's team.
But what did
get into it now?
What did you think? Do you think there was any positives they can take away from that camp?
Very few, really. I think, you know, I'll be honest. I think I might be a bit dismissive of American following here, but you know, basically Ireland, the diaspora, they brought an Ireland team over to America, and the World Cup's on next year. It probably helps the profile of Ireland as an Irish footballing nation, I suppose, in some sense. I think the squad together as well, without Katie there, would have mixed it a little bit. But yeah, it's a strange one, really. You know, not a lot of positives, and I think I don't know really. It's Carla Ward. I think she's going to be under a bit of pressure now, and we need to get some games where we're going to get good performances. I think they really have to rethink the women's football, to be honest, because I don't think it's worked out going to Parc y Cuivre at all, because I don't think it suits them. I think they should just sort themselves out, settle into.
I think they do great. I think they do brilliantly in Tala, so I don't know.
Yeah, so just settle into Tala and make that your home, make it a fortress like we're trying to do with Lansdowne Road, and then we'll crack on from there. But you know, I think there was a lot of goodwill from the World Cup qualification under Vera Pauw. We covered it quite a bit in depth, obviously, but I think that's kind of the interest has kind of waned as well. So it's a little bit, it's a little bit disappointing for me on that. So yeah, let's just see what happens with the women's team. But yeah, it wasn't great, and I think Carla Ward is actually under a bit of pressure now, and people are saying, you know, what she's trying to do isn't actually going to work. So it's going to be interesting. But you know, we don't want any more uncertainty with that. Too many changes in the women's football team overall. Right, we're going to also focus a bit internationally again, and this is another story. We will be coming on to chat about all the speculation about transfers and who's signed or whatever, and how the lads are getting on, because we've got Connor on high alert, checking the lads' Instagram accounts to see where they are and they're in warm weather training and things like that. But this is another one, a little bit divisive reaction to this. But Lee Carsley, back to back, he's got our trophy in his hand there, hasn't he? This should have been Ireland's trophy. The under-21s, back-to-back wins. That's historic as well. Lee Carsley, a lot of speculation. We spoke at length about, you know, wanting him as the number one target to be the manager just before Heimer got appointed. At that dark time in Irish football where we were going on and having updates every other 3 months with Mark Canham on the recruitment of Stephen Kenny's successor. But Lee Carsley, you know, Connor, you didn't think they'd win it. They were a little bit lucky. Well, they were lucky to win it in the end.
They were lucky. Don't lie.
I mean, hit the
Paul Nebel
on a few occasions. Nebel was fantastic, wasn't he? Didn't get the ball to him enough, but fantastic. And it just shows you. So I mean, look, I'm obviously in London. It didn't get a lot of. There wasn't a lot of hype about the under-21s tournament over here at all. And you know, even like Harvey Elliott, you know, chatting about him and things like that. You know, the coverage from the studio that I watched the final on was Defoe and Connor Cody actually. You know, it was interesting, the coverage, I suppose. But you know, and looking back, it was quite interesting actually. Just looking back at the previous winners of the Player of the Tournament, Figo's won it, won Mata, Perlo, and Anthony Gordon won the last one, and now it's Harvey Elliott. So fine company, but yeah, I'm disappointed Ireland weren't there, of course. But Lee Carsley, it was just, I thought it was very interesting that Kevin Kilban, he went out with it, didn't he? Saying, you know,
you can pull it up here, Martin.
Have you got it there? There you go. Oh yeah, here it is. Kevin Kilban, so proud of Lee Carsley and everything he's achieved. They are best friends after all and played at Everton, of course. An incredible coach, but importantly, incredible man. Back-to-back Euros is some going. What a man. And then he said, on a separate note, to think we could have had him. A very loaded little message there from Kevin Kilban. Do you think we could have had him, Connor? Like, because there was a lot of speculation, but did we have a chat with him or not, and what happened?
First of all, England did not deserve to win under 21's final. They got lucky. Paul Nebel hitting the crossbar, very disappointing. How Harvey Elliott won player tournament over Volta, God knows. Just look at the stats and you see who the best player in the tournament was. I think Romano had a part to play in that, probably by posting that he was the best player, and then everyone's like, oh, he's the best player. But anyway, on Carsley, I think we did have a chance. It was obvious we did have a chance. Kilban didn't say that. Wouldn't have said that, I don't think, for no reason. I think it was a slight dig at Mr. Canham, which seems to be constantly happening with other people. And I think we can probably say more what we think of him now that he's heading the way out the door. We've seen with Stephen Bradley how he disrespected Stephen Bradley by turning up 15 minutes late to the meeting. And it seems to be the consensus that Carsley, if he was going to come in, he wanted his own backroom staff, which the FAI seemed to want their own, which they didn't let Mr. Halgrimson do, really, other than the goalkeeping coach situation. So, yeah, I think it obviously was. There obviously was a possibility in some aspect, whether it was just Kilban was saying that Carsley had interest, and then the FAI completely ruled out any interest, by the way. Maybe they handled it around it with him. But it's probably not the best time to come out with it because we're about to enter World Cup period. We're all very happy with Heimer. We all think Heimer's taking us in a positive direction and we're going in the right way. So probably we can forget about Carsley for another probably 2 years anyway, and maybe in 2 years we'll reflect. But I don't know. I'm not taking too much from them quotes here.
Not really, no. I think it's a bit tongue in cheek, to be honest, and it's not shit stirring or too negative. I think ultimately, and it's probably lamenting on what could have been. But no, I agree though. He's done a fantastic job with the under-21s. I mean, that whole mindset. I mean, you've had a good chat with Jim Crawford, haven't you, over the years? And I've heard Jim speaking, a fantastic speaker actually. But his whole mentality, Jim, when he's bringing through the under-21s is I'm developing players for the senior squad. That's what we're doing. That's the job. And, looking at that England under-21 squad the other night, so few of them will actually go on and make it. And that's one of the things, when I was watching that under-21 final, I was just thinking of some of our under-21s coming through and our player pool. And it's interesting. I've seen some comments already saying, Rolling Stones already said, like, this is the worst group of players we've ever had. But, some of our lads have come through this under-21 pathway. We, yes, would have been fast-tracked at times, but you have to be very patient with them. And, England have this massive player pool, and even they don't all make it. So we've got a smaller pool, so it's inevitable in a way that some of them lads are going to have an opportunity with the senior team. And it just will take a bit of time for them to settle in and actually show us what they're about. And I think we will see the fruits of that.
We would have got to at least a quarter-final in that. It's just very disappointing.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean,
if you looked at our squad we would have had in that tournament, we would have got to at least a quarter-final, which is very disappointing because it's all about, you do one of the big things other than developing players is developing that winning mentality, getting to these tournaments and getting used to playing in them experiences, and which isn't a good thing when you're not qualifying really, when realistically we should have qualified and with ease with the way we were playing them group games. But also it is, for the Carsley aspect, it is a big difference managing an under-21 side than it is managing a senior side. You could see in the ground for the final, the atmosphere wasn't raw, just it wasn't, there was no real huge pressure on them. It kind of was like, it was just two excellent 20, or it was two groups of 11 players. They were all excellent footballers that went out. I think they just went head to head, playing free-flowing football, and obviously went to extra time, and England got that goal in extra time. But obviously tactics are still massive in that aspect, but it was more open, free-flowing football is which you get underage football.
Yeah, you do. And I'd urge people to actually watch the Ireland 21s as well, because, and even the 19s downwards, because, when you can catch them, you might as well see them, like brilliantly technical players. People saying this Ireland haven't got the players. We do. There's some fantastic technical players. I mean, I love seeing that game. It was toe-to-toe, as you said. I think he used the substitutions really, really well. Obviously, the match winner coming on. But, I really liked it. I thought it was really, really interesting. There wasn't too much for kind of the time waste and all the other crap that comes in senior football. Too much on show there. So that was quite refreshing as well. But yeah, obviously sad that Ireland weren't there. But Lee Carsley perhaps will be a future Ireland boss. He was asked afterwards, would he be going off to prepare now for the World Cup qualifiers with England to kind of be part of that kind of backroom staff in a sense, because England are qualified already in a sense is what they were talking about on telly. But yeah, that was just a typical kind of arrogance, I suppose. And I heard on the radio today, TalkSport, which we've mentioned a few times now, TalkSport on our show. Yeah, Andy Goldstein was actually talking Darren Bent today, and the question was, after the 2 Euro wins, should Lee Carsley be knighted? So that was an interesting one for me anyway. But
put him down before knight him.
I know. Yeah, so interesting. And the last thing I'd say did you see the trophy presentation of the under-21s? They gave Lee Carsley, he had to lead the team up, didn't he? They gave him the medal and he took it off straight away, and he went and joined his coaching staff, and then after the players celebrated, he then went in and joined them, which I thought was a bit class, actually.
No, I turned it off after the final whistle, to be honest. As soon as he did one, I turned it off.
Couldn't believe the 92nd minute when he hit the bar. Jesus, keeper well beaten. Right, we're going to come and chat. We're going to get to all your comments as well. Thanks for all the chat and that. We can see them coming in. And make sure, if you haven't already, do subscribe, because it does mean a lot to us. Makes it very helpful for us with algorithms and possible sponsors, because we have got a lot of content coming up with you. We've had a fantastic interview with David Ford coming up with the launch of his new book, which is actually behind me, called Being the One. We had a fantastic weekend with him, and we can't wait to share that with you. And we've got some other videos that we've done to get out to you, which will be a bit of fun, because we don't take ourselves too seriously here on Lansdown Raw, but we do appreciate your support. So make sure you have subscribed. Follow us on Twitter. I saw another comment on us going, "Oh, who are these lads? They've only got 3,500 on Twitter." We're not really on Twitter too much, but we're trying to get there. That's why we've got so few followers. And unlike other podcasts, we don't buy followers. We bribe you. So that's what my last comment on that. But thanks for all your comments coming in. We'll get through all those. We can see all the chat. See you digging us out, which we appreciate as well. And we're going to just give you some latest. This is where Connor comes into his own. Right, Connor? Before I want to ease you into this one, but a couple of the lads, you've been on Instagram. This is Jake O'Brien on the right. Is training in Marbella, I think it is, with Evan Ferguson as well. So summer training camp. So this is something that a lot of these players do now, don't they? They go away on holiday. They're not like flat out on the beer for 4-5 weeks like they used to be. These are professional athletes now, earning thousands of pounds or euros. And they seem to like this thing, don't they?
You can say that with them. You can say that. Don't worry, you won't get called English for the currency they're working.
No. Well, yeah. So this is all. These camps happen, don't they? These lads get personal trainers, don't they? And I know even in Quinta del Lago, lots of warm training camps happen there. I've seen a lot of the players over there in the past when I've been on holiday. Well, I've been sitting there watching them. But yeah, this is just a thing. A coincidence that the two lads are together. They're obviously friends off the pitch. Anything to read into that, perhaps? Is Evan off to Everton?
No, that's what people have been saying. I wouldn't be surprised if Everton want him, and Jake is trying to tell him to come to Everton. I'd rather probably see him go to the Bundesliga. Rather, if the Frankfurt option became available, or a Bayern Leverkusen option, because I've seen actually Boniface could be. I've seen John Duran, who went to Al Nassr, that stopped the Boniface deal, which stopped Ferguson going to Leverkusen in January. It could be that John Duran's he's going to Fenerbahce, and then Boniface is going to Al Nassr now, which is a bit of a mess. So Ferguson maybe could go back in there, but no, I don't know if I'd read too much into it, because a lot of players go on holidays together and train together. And even though Dave, for some reason, that's something that he thinks that Ferguson isn't training, because he went to Ibiza for a couple of days, which lad goes on holidays, breaking news, can't go on holidays for a couple of days after playing football for the season. But anyway, it's good to see them training together. Sometimes it's sad, because sometimes a player could be putting all the work in behind the scenes, you don't see the social media, but then it's the ones you see in social media doing all the work, or the ones that you actually think are doing the work. So yeah, because I know a lot of lads. I know I've seen Josh Keeley was in Qatar, and I've seen Sinclair was in Dubai, and other lads be training with the train 1-to-1 lads in Dublin. So it seems a lot of the lads put in the extra work behind the scenes, and it's just that unless it's plastered over social media, you don't really see it.
Yeah, and I think some of these players, it's not always them who are putting their own, photos on training. Sometimes players do it when they want to kind of send a message out, don't they? I can think of like Marcus Rashford did it.
He does it every couple of weeks.
Yeah. But it's not new for these players now, professional athletes, to be doing this. Aside from it, Jacob Bryan's worked with David Roach, actually, another former guest on the podcast. We chatted about him and how he's done some strength and conditioning work with him in the past. Also works for the FAI, of course. But yeah, it's interesting. The lads are doing this. Ibiza is somewhere we're going to be not next summer because we're in America, but the year after we'll go away with the lads there, and we'll just find out how we'll cover the pre-season.
Can we not? No, we can't go. We can't go next summer after we win the World Cup. We'll all be going to Ibiza to celebrate.
Oh yeah, we will be, of course. Yeah.
Or we could go to Miami either. We could go to Miami or somewhere like that. But
so we're looking for a sponsor. If you'd like to sponsor us, more than
we'll do live interviews from Ocean Beach in Ibiza. Rep Tracker, Wayne Lineker, Prendy, and Evan Ferguson. Live podcasts.
Jesus Christ. I don't know what's worse. We're going to come on and chat about a little bit of who he was pictured with. I don't know. Is it worse having Wayne?
Stop. Don't get Dave. Don't set Dave.
I know. But no, interesting that the lad's doing this. I mean, also though, Pedro's linked with Chelsea, isn't he?
Get him going.
Could be leaving Brighton, so that's an opportunity for Evan.
He's already on his way to America.
And Calvert-Lewin, he's gone from Everton. So, things are starting to happen. Obviously, when we hear it or it's breaking news, we'll be doing a show to get your feedback, the Raw Faithful, see what your thoughts are on these moves when they might happen. I mean, look, long way for the transfer window, of course, but we're trying to cover all these transfer speculation, and also, whatever we hear, we obviously share with you. So, looking forward to covering that coming forward. I thought it was quite interesting to see the lads off their training.
I think Joe Pedro's, he's already on his way to America to do his medical in America.
They can play in it,
playing a Club World Cup, which is a bit mad to think that he's going to go do that. You think you just wait till he comes back and have him training in Brighton or whatever in Chelsea, because obviously they're not far from each other. But it's massive. I think for Evan, one of the big downfalls for Evan was when João Pedro signed, because he's that sort of player that's not really a number 9, or you don't even know if he's a number 10, or I know he drifts out to the left a lot, but he's sort of player that kind of plays off the striker as the 9, who loves the ball to feet and has to have beyond the ball 70% of the time. And it takes away from a lad like Evan, because he loves to pick up the ball and dribble and take men on rather than stick the ball in the box. Or Evan's making these movements and he's just not even bringing his head up. So it could be something that massively benefits Evan, is him going out the door. I still think that he's going to tear it up in pre-season and that he's going to be back playing for Brighton week in, week out. But I think with Calvert-Lewin, he's just a bit of a bum at this stage, and he's always injured. So I don't know how much that'll affect. I think Everton, even if Calvert-Lewin would have stayed, they would be signing a new striker. So I don't know if that makes too much of a difference.
Yeah. So we're going to be covering it wherever Evan goes. Within reason, we will follow. And right,
aren't you? You're like under Herrera, marking Hazard back in the day. Follows
yeah. Right, bit of transfer news. Obviously, spoke about Sheamus Coleman, extending his contract with Everton. Fantastic to see. And this is Cahill O'Sullivan. He has been linked with Brentford, Preston, and Crystal Palace. What have you got to let us know about this one, Connor?
It was from the Irish Independent earlier that it looks set in stone that Cahill was going to Crystal Palace this summer, which I know he's out of contract at the end of the season, but it looked like Cork were going to sell him now to get that extra bit of cash rather than just the compensation fee. But even though he was seen at Selhurst Park watching their 21s in May, it seems like there's a bit of a race going on here. It seems that there's been no fee agreed with Crystal Palace and Cork. It's rumoured that Preston and Brentford are now in the race for him, which is quite interesting, particularly on the Brentford side. Keith Andrews is the man in charge there, and if you remember, the last what you'd say League of Ireland young star to go across the water and go to a Premier League club was Sam Curtis when he went to Sheffield United, and who was involved with Sheffield United at the time was Keith Andrews, was assistant manager, who played a massive part in Sam going to Sheffield United. So it could be something that could be worth watching out for. Can Keith Andrews step in and convince Cal O'Sullivan to go to Brentford, which would probably not be a bad option, in fairness, probably a better option than Palace, because you've seen they're more of a youth-friendly type of club as such. With they try to scout a bit better, and if they're looking to play like Cal, you think you'd trust them to have a good pathway for him. I don't know about Preston, because you just don't know. Would he go straight in and start playing with them in the Championship? Would be great, but you just don't know with something like that. But it seems that he's going to stay at Cork until the end of the season anyway, and Cork are just going to lose him for compensation money, and he's going to make his mind up then. But they're going to be more relying in future stuff in terms of potential sell-on clauses in the future rather than an initial upfront fee now. So it's probably not the biggest worry.
No, I mean, it is interesting though, isn't it? You know, like you're saying, Keith Andrews, perhaps, you know, coming in, knowing him, you know, there is kind of an expectation now. Keith Andrews obviously confirmed since we last spoke that he is now the Brentford head coach. Well, what Irish influence will be there? We know obviously Nathan Collins is there, and Caoimhín Kelleher, of course, as number one. Lots of speculation on that. Like, you know, will he go in for, you know, Troy Parrott? Will he go in for Evan? You know, will he give opportunities to Irish lads, perhaps? It is an interesting one like that. It reminds me of when John Walters went in as was he director of football at Stoke, and then
he's still there.
Yeah, and then we had Irish players kind of moving there, didn't we, for a little bit? So
happened last summer. Oh, jeez, Cannon, Moore, and Boston all went there last summer.
Yeah. So it does remind me of that, and I think it's going to be very, very intriguing. I think to follow this, to see, you know, Keith Andrews and stuff, and I think actually just to focus on that, Keith Andrews going in there is a fantastic. I've seen the FAI talking on their social media platforms saying how great it is that, you know, he is, you know, he came through the FAI pathway. To have a manager now in the Premier League is incredible, who's come through their pathway. I've seen lots of different accounts talking about his coaching journey and what he's done, or how, you know, his technical kind of expertise, or how he comes across. And I think that was even when I was watching kind of Brentford's kind of press releases and their interviews with their kind of CEO, or if it was, that, you know, talking about why he really fitted into the model there, and that he's popular with the players, but he gets very, very clear presentations on what he does, and he really fits their kind of style. So
presentation,
the best of luck with that.
PowerPoints. They learn that from Mark Hannum. They learn that from Mark Hannum.
No, I mean, gets the key messages over. Maybe it is. But yeah, interesting. I just reminded myself there, actually, when you were talking about Ibiza, I do know of John O'Shea was in Ibiza as well.
Yes,
I've seen that, and it's quite funny. If you follow, well, I don't follow Colleen Rooney. It must be Wayne Rooney or whatever it was. Colleen Rooney's photo, and in the background, John O'Shea's in like this group photo. Pretty cool. Obviously hanging out with the Rooneys, but yeah, Rooney should have played for Ireland. So yeah, just on, it'd be very interesting to see where Keith Andrews goes with any kind of Irish influence he brings there. So yeah, we'll be watching that one, of course.
You better.
We will be. I'm definitely going to go to a Brentford game, obviously.
But he better not forget. He better not forget he's Irish and just not sign any Irish players.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a big thing, isn't it? Like, you know, I know some of these, like, lots of movement from Brentford, isn't there? Of course, so there's probably going to be a kind of pot of money, you would think. But then it's a big trustful thing, isn't it? You know, for a new manager coming in there to give it, like, inexperienced manager. Ultimately, he is. So, you know, again, referencing TalkSport, they can't get it through their heads. Like, oh, what's this about? So, I think he's just very, very underrated. But so he's going to have to prove himself, of course. So that's going to be a big challenge for him, and how he handles the media and everything like that. But yeah, I think he spoke well in his kind of announcement interview. Right, we're coming on to another Ireland player, just to give you some confirmation of him. This is a player I'm very excited to see how he develops now. James Abankwah, it's confirmed, isn't it, that he's back at Watford?
Yep.
The mighty Hornets.
It does say signed.
Road.
It does say signed.
Yep, and he is back on a loan deal for a year.
Yeah, season long loan.
Yeah, so this is another one we will have to catch up and get out to to see Watford in action, I think, this season. On behalf of the Raw Faithful, we've got a few plans to go to a few games, all of us together. And especially because we would love to, in person, kind of congratulate from the stands Rocco Vata for his
finishing second. Finishing second. What are you gonna do? One of them sports day medals. Well done, participation. You got nominated. But didn't he win it? No, Josh Keeley won it. He
did not win it.
He did. He did win it. Sure, was on socials. Just because you didn't vote him. Because
that is a past episode you can catch up with where we had a fun evening going through our awards for the season.
Well, the fans voted, and Josh got 42% of the votes.
He did, he did.
So are you saying you don't trust the Roar Faithful? But no, it's great to see James go back to Watford. I've seen a few people saying, is he probably ready for a higher level? I don't think it's a bad move at this stage of his career. He had an excellent first couple of months there. I know Watford sacked Cleverly, which was quite disappointing from anyone that kind of watches Watford regularly. I think the players are very disappointed, but it seems like they're going to invest a good bit of money this summer. They've got a new manager in. They'll probably be pushing higher up the table. If they can finish in a playoff spot, it's a huge step up season for James, playing week in, week out in the Championship. Hopefully, he will become a regular in the Ireland squad. I don't know if he'll be a starter anytime soon until he starts playing really for Udinese or moves to maybe the Premier League because of the quality we have in that position. Or he could easily come in as Ireland or 21 captain, which I wouldn't be surprised with. He's shown last campaign he's as good as anyone in that squad, and that was the amount of talent in that squad was ridiculous. So, I think James will either be the Ireland or 21 captain or become a regular in the first team. It shows the level of player he is. And I think he'll really kick on this year even more. He'll show how good he is driving with the ball out from the defence. He carries the ball out excellently. He wins the serious amount of free kicks from just backing himself in the opposition places, and he's so composed on the ball. So, and obviously he's one of them people. He's kind of a freak athlete. He's rapid and he's very strong and he's excellent in duels. So he's a player with huge potential.
Yep. So looking forward to see how he gets on. Yeah, a bit of a breakthrough last year with most Ireland fans kind of getting to see him and what he was about. And I know Tom Cleverley didn't work out there with Watford, but spoke glowingly of him. He absolutely rattled someone, didn't he? One of his first games. So
it's the first 30 seconds of his first game.
Which, he probably took it literally. Get in there, son, and get stuck in. So fantastic. Right, we're going to come on and do your comments soon. Seen lots of chat with you. Thanks very much for your support. So it's amazing. We're nearly 2,000 viewers on a Monday evening. So what else would you be doing rather than supporting the
Martin
Irish Football Podcast? But what did I talk about? Subscribing?
No, but did you see? No, away from subscribing. Do you see some lads are already back in pre-season? For lads like Killian Phillips is already back in pre-season. That man had no time off. That's mental. I know he got an assist just in the first pre-season game. I've seen Roland Ado, who actually scored twice for St Mirren. I don't know who they're playing. I can't remember. I think probably some lower league Scottish side. But I think that's mental. Some of the amount of minutes that lad's probably going. Killian Phillips has played over the last year, and then to come back in already, but. I think he's the type who just loves football and he's just happy to be playing football. And I think if he wasn't, he'd probably just be in Dublin doing whatever in Dublin with his mates. So I don't think he's too fussed about going back and just playing football all the time. But I see the likes of Ike Razi back with Stade Rem first team for pre-season. I think he's going to be one of the breakout players next year. Hopefully he can really kick on in pre-season, that he can be one that starts from straight away at the start of the season, because if he starts playing for their first team, he's a real option, not just for the 21s but for the senior squad, because he is a special talent in fairness. So hopefully we'll see a few lads kick on in pre-season and we can see how good they are.
And this is where you're going to find out all about these up-and-coming Ireland footballers, because we have our weekly shows where Connor goes through. We have Obig, where we find out what the lads have been up to. During the season, we talk about how they've got on, what minutes they played, if they scored, assists, clean sheets. All of that's covered on Obig. So, we can see on some of the viewers this evening, some of the regulars are back, which is fantastic, and we do appreciate your support. If you want to get more content as well, do check out lansdowneroad.ie. That's our website. We're going to be working on that now, actually, in the next few weeks, to get that up and running and even more efficient, which is my favorite word when I speak to Dave about that, because that's where you can get all the latest articles. We've got a fantastic team of writers who contribute to the page, and that's where you'll get a lot of insight of Irish football fans like ourselves who give hard-hitting commentary and views on all sorts of issues in Irish football. So do support that and check out the lads' comments. It's fantastic. Ladies too as well. We are open to all who would like to write for the website. And yeah, some great articles there as well. We cover nostalgia, we cover anniversaries of big games and events in Irish football, of course, and obviously the latest news and transfer speculation, because we know some of our younger listeners and viewers, like Connor,
something
on there. I put that up.
Oh,
you put that up.
It's for all our fans. Completed transfers. People,
there we go.
So those are transfers of the season so far.
All right. So Keller to Brentford, McGrath to Hibs, Sweeney.
You don't have to read them out.
This through the lot of my cases. Yeah,
it's people people who've missed any any of the transfers can keep up to date by reading that.
So that's what again, referencing some of the abuse we got during the week. That's what our saddos do in our bedrooms. We update graphic images to, that sounds really menacing. We graphic images, graphics to kind of let you know the latest news on Irish football, of course, and that includes all the transfers. So yeah, look, you can see Irish lads are on the move all around Europe as well, which is fantastic. And yeah, we're going to be following them and seeing how they get on throughout the season. So fantastic. And do also check out our League of Ireland podcast, our show weekly with Connor and Dave, especially because my knowledge is awful. But I actually listen along to that to increase my knowledge of the League of Ireland. And I also have to listen. I'm forced to listen to that, the Raw Faithful. I'm sure you'll appreciate this, because that's the one where they just are horrible and bitchy about me and give me loads of stick. And that was summed up by someone who met me in Luxembourg and come up and said, really enjoyed the pod, which we love meeting the Raw Faithful. But he said, Jesus, them two lads give you loads of stick and there's no need for it. So thank you for your support of that as well. Right, we're going to come on to it's my little rant. Right, we're coming on to your comments. So look, we've been chatting for about an hour now. And again, thanks for over the 2,000 viewers watching this evening. Amazing. So make sure you all have subscribed. It really does help us. But we're going to come on, just the context of this. I will clarify some things just in the context, because we've been chatting for an hour and some of this goes off on a tangent and have internal little conversations between people. But just the first one this evening was Paul O'Mahony. Could not care about Carsley now. He turned us down. Move on. Honestly, don't think we would be any better off with him anyway. I want to go straight to you, Connor. We're going to be positive, aren't we, on Heimer? But, would we have been in a better position with Carsley, or would it just be the same?
I think it would be the same, to be honest.
Yeah,
okay. I don't think there'll be. I don't think, as David Dunn said, Carsley's an elite coach. He's proven he's an elite coach. Shut up, Dave. We'll find out. I said we'll find out how elite Heimer is come the end of November.
Yeah, very valid. Yeah, right. And Rolling Stone, good to see you watching along again. This is the worst group of players we've ever had, bringing us all back down to earth.
No, it's not.
And he's talking about Martin O'Neill now. Martin O'Neill has said this is the worst group of Irish players he has ever seen.
It's not. If you think back,
I'll just jump into his next comment, which is, so that's Martin O'Neill, Liam Brady, and John Giles have all said that this is the worst pool of Irish players ever seen. How are they wrong?
But Martin, did Liam Brady and John Giles not say that like 4 years ago at the start of the Kenny Reid, when we were losing to like Luxembourg at home and stuff? So no, they probably said that 4 years ago. It's definitely not.
It's not about this current crop they're talking. Martin O'Neill doesn't know half these players, I would say, as well. And that might upset a few of the Celtic fans a bit more.
I'd love to ask him to name. I'd love to ask him to name as many current Irish players as possible.
Well, I'm gonna. I don't know if it was I talking to you about this, Connor. I think it was. It was you, Connor. I think we're talking about. And I've been at airports traveling to an Ireland game from London with former Ireland players who were being on pundit duty that evening for an Ireland game. And I was discussing the squad with them. And in all honesty, they didn't know half the players I was talking about. So it just shows you some of these absolute legends, not knocking them for what they've done in Ireland, even their punditry stuff now. It's a time and a place, of course. They've got vast experience, obviously more than me and you, Connor, and we can't even have an opinion, can we? But they just don't. They're not in touch with it as much as they used to be. Like they're 34 years ago, they were playing for Ireland, and they can still know the game. Of course, never would knock any of their Martin O'Neill, Liam Brady, or John Giles' knowledge of football, right? And what they've achieved in football. but their fingers are not on the pulse, and it is a different generation now watching football and the players coming through and how players are being coached and even how managers are handling these players as well. So they don't know the ins and outs of it too much. Also, just want to give a shout out. John Giles retired from, punditry basically the other day. Fantastic, absolute legend, John Giles. And hope all well with him and the family in his retirement, and that he enjoys that and has a few.
I'd never call him a bluffer. I'd never call John.
No, John Giles, pure football man. But I'm just saying, that, like Liam, we've interviewed Liam Brady. We've got a fantastic video with Liam Brady from a few years ago, and he was talking on a stage in the Cloud of Ring. I've done an interview with him. We were in London. It's in our archives there on YouTube. But he said the problem is we haven't got a midfield. We did not have a midfielder at that time. That was 2-3 years ago. Now, you could argue now, do we have midfielders coming through now? We know that's a problem position for Ireland. That's what they mean. I don't think it's the worst squad we've ever had now. Without doubt, it's not. Like, we've definitely improved on that. So I think it's, I think we have to move on with that. Rory McDonald also says here on that same subject, we have seen worse. Rolling Stone, look back to 2020. I mean, that's probably the squad just come out of after lockdown, COVID and things. That was an awful time for Irish football in a sense, where we had a big player pulled as well. But that COVID time, there was behind closed doors games. There was we had a lot of League of Ireland players being called up into those squads as well.
League
not
One players
being dismissive of them. Yeah. League One players were coming in. That probably was a not strong group as we have now, without doubt. Like, we've been saying how we don't have forwards who play, or don't even play in the Premier League, and now we have got some of those. So it's important to see that, I think. Rolling Stone, none of our players now would get in any half-decent Irish teams in the past, not even the limping Evan Ferguson. Well, we know why, because he's got a very awful injury, hasn't he? He and his paper machete patella tendon just wouldn't cut it. And then he says, Rory, have you seen the comedy show The Phone Jacker? Here comes Rory again. Excited to see Andrews getting in at Brentford. He's going into the job with everything going against him. Brentford losing their star players, and Martin O'Neill and Keane will destroy him in the media. It will be interesting to see how he is received once he gets underway in pre-season games, because they're going to be important to Keith Andrews, no doubt, and obviously the transfer window as well. Martin O'Neill's a bit of rat, says Rory. I hope Andrews does brilliantly, just so Martin O'Neill was too embarrassed to show his face on my telly.
Yeah, same. Do you think because Keane, there will eventually be a Super Sunday or something that Andrews is playing, or sorry, no, he's not playing, but Brentford are playing, and Keane is on the television? Do you think Keane's going to go out of his way to call him a bluffer again and all this nonsense?
I think Keane will just move on from it, and I think it will be interesting. Where Keane will have his digs will be on the overlap. He'll get his little comments.
I think he'll just be extra. I think he'll be extra harsh. I think we'll see an episode of the overlap in the next probably week or two where it mentions Keane and someone asks him about Keith Andrews getting the job and how great it is, and he'll probably just go on a big rant about how much he hates.
And it'll be also interesting in the next. I mean, because you can see they're all away at the moment, aren't they? Where was he the other day, Keane? Because he met Busquets, didn't he? And Suarez.
He was in Miami.
How was that? Yeah. So,
which is pretty cool. In fairness, that's when you know you're a legend of the game, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I love that. Well, look, this is for you, Dave. I love that when Keane's, down the side of the pitch and all these absolute legendary players who are just about to play, they see him and they are just like completely starstruck by him, and then they want photos with him and things like that. It just shows you his esteem.
But it won't be long until that. It won't be long until, because my players are my kind of age generation never seen Roy Keane play, so it won't be long until people just give him a handshake and people won't be in awe of him anymore. No,
because he'll be more famous soon for being a pundit, won't he? To some people.
But like Gary Lineker. Gary Lineker's more famous now for being the Match of the Day host than he is.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, so you young bucks, know your history, Connor. I mean, we are doing a great job, myself and Dave. We try to educate you, Connor. You're not receptive to it at all. But then,
not from Dave anyway. Dave tries to tell me Paul Pogba wasn't a generational talent.
Well, that's it.
Clearly is. Good to see him back then.
Oh, no, don't get me going on Pogba. Right, Rolling Stone. I don't think we should even be talking Lee Carsley. He isn't Irish. He only got capped there because there was a rumour circulating in Ireland at the time that one of his grandparents allegedly owned an Irish Terrier for a short period. I mean, that's just... These jokes are shit. Lee Carsley was another Tony Cascarino. Okay. Zed Leplin, 1-0 Dunsey.
About David Dunn, is it? About Dave?
Yeah,
What did
maybe.
Dave do?
Oh no, number one is it? Maybe the number one person on the pod. I don't know. Oh yeah, sorry. And then Nick has said congratulations on the move to Monaco, Dave. That's Dave Dunn. He moved to
Yeah, David Dunn
David
from
Dunn.
Cork. From Cork, the real David Dunn.
Yeah. And then we have DM. Ferguson's next move is massive for him. Yeah, I think we're probably all in agreement of that. Alistair Jack. Hi, Alistair. Hope you're well. Hi, Martin and legend Connor.
Good man, Alistair.
And then we had Nick saying US women's team is lethal. We didn't have a hope, especially without McCabe and O'Sullivan.
Didn't have a hope anyway.
And then very difficult to beat them. Martin Fitzpatrick. How good is this Owen Elding? Connor. Fantastic goal, wasn't it?
He's good. He's bloody good. Yeah. Not bad, that kid. Not bad. Nah, he's unbelievable. He's different gravy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
but I did see just on his passport situation, because he was born in England and moved over when he was 7, I believe, when his dad signed in the League of Ireland, and has lived in Sligo his whole life since. And obviously at that stage you are really considered an Irishman, but FIFA have been quite awkward with his ruling so far. They've turned down his eligibility a couple of times over the last while, because they're saying because his dad moved over for footballing reasons. And not, even though football is a job and he still moved. What's the difference of him moving over for a footballing job and someone moving over for a IT job or an accounting job? I don't get just whole FIFA being awkward. But there's been instances in the past with players who've moved over at young ages just to play football in countries like Laporte, for example, who moved from France to Spain and became eligible for Spain because he lived in Spain for such a long period of time. So it will eventually get sorted out. It's just FIFA being awkward, like FIFA like to be.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being born in England and being Irish, is there, Connor?
No.
Alex says, well, lad.
He lived in Ireland, unlike you. You've never even been to Ireland, have you?
All right. Irish citizen. What's with Ferguson and Parrott hanging around with McGregor? We're going to cover this very, very briefly. Troy posting it all over his Instagram. Are they clueless? Who advises these lads? And then Scuzzy just says, Troy has always been connected to those gangsters, unfortunately. Yeah, we've seen this as well. You know, we've covered a little bit earlier that, you know, the lads are off Marbella and wherever they are on holidays and stuff. And yeah, we saw the photo of Ferguson with McGregor. Troy as well posted it. He has posted photos in the past, as Alex just says there. But yeah, ill-advised is what I would say. Getting hammered on socials enough. I think they're both young men. Ill-advised. They've got to probably think a little bit differently on that. Doesn't go down well, and you can just see, especially social media these days, you're going to get criticised if you do something, and if you don't. We saw that with look at the fallout from Glastonbury, with all the stuff there, which was incredible as well. So yeah, look, that's where we are, I suppose, on it.
We don't condone it, is what we just said.
No, we don't condone it. It's just they've got to be a little bit more sensible. And then Rolling Stone, we're talking about the women's team earlier. Are McCabe and O'Sullivan midfielders? There would be a huge upgrade on Smallbone and Joe Patrick Finn. I don't know if Rolling Stone actually supports Ireland or not. I don't know.
He supports Landon Miller.
Right, okay. Alistair Jack, Ferguson being strongly linked to Celtic. Heard anything there? I know we spoke about that in the past.
I think it's mainly just ex-players saying they'd love to see him at Celtic. But I think Alistair's a Celtic fan, so I think he's hopeful as well. But I'm hopeful he doesn't go there.
Sheen Fitzgerald, this is just chatting about Troy, that he's kind of friends with them. It's not that deep. You stick with your boys no matter what. And I don't know what that's about. And then DM just says, if he wants to throw away any chance of a career at a big club, then yeah, he should stick with the boys. Anyway.
His club seemed to like it, by the way.
Yeah. Right, I'm just trying to kind of filter some of these because there's just some stuff that doesn't even make sense to be honest.
Alistair's comment.
Where's Alistair?
There.
Which one? Oh, there you go. Coleman will be Ireland manager. Yeah. Right. Want to hear from you, the Raw faithful listening, viewing, watching along this evening. Do you think Sheamus Coleman will be a future Ireland manager? There you go. Quick answers now below. It's going to be interesting to see how involved he is, of course. So yeah, Jack O'Connor, this is for you, Dave. No, Dave. He's missing David Dunn, but as we've just said, he's off to Monaco. Rolling Stone, isn't Sheamus Coleman pushing 50 now? No, he's not. I'm just. Oh, here we go. This is it. Celtic Symphony. Surprised you to assure in your faces of the way you've embarrassed yourselves recently. Connor, defend
So,
yourself.
I can't, not against Celtic. Poor Celtic's been, he's not very happy after what I said about Martin O'Neill. Celtic and Martin O'Neill are playing over fair, but Celtic was. I don't regret doing it simply the fact how much I rattled Celtic for it. He's pretty rattled from what I said about Mr. O'Neill, but that's funny.
And yeah, Connor's been a mess recently, a serious mess. And of course, Connor is one of them far left and he always speaks lunatics. I think, oh, here we go. 1 minute. And then he said, don't think you're getting off scot-free, Brenda.
Fact.
And then, God forbid my daughter is a man like you, McAvoy. Yeah, look, I'm actually a bit surprised. Why have you just Connor now? Connor at Rep Tracker. Why are you hiding your surname? Are you worried about a visit from the...
No, it was set as Connor, so I don't know. I don't know when it changed it. But I don't know. But yeah, I'm definitely not far left, and I'm definitely not anti-free speech. I just think that Martin O'Neill shouldn't be allowed to radio. I just think he should be sacked. Simple as. It's like a manager. If you think about, it's like people when they want Stephen Kenny gone, they wanted them sacked. I want Martin O'Neill sacked. I don't think he should.
Oh, see, some of the comments we had actually was he's not defended Stephen Kenny for years. So yeah, no, we were just positive supporters of Irish football, and that was under Stephen Kenny. And when it went wrong at the end, we said it's time to change, and that's you can't just we didn't go out from the outset, did we? Sorry, there was another one there. Yeah, sorry, this is Ed M. Welcome along. Amazed that Coleman never moved to a bigger club. In his prime, there was few fullbacks better.
He was gone before he broke his leg.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, that brilliant. And then Rolling Stone, always Mr. Positive, of course. Coleman was never a great defender. People here only think he was because John Giles was blowing smoke up his ass after every Irish game.
So but you saying that you agree with John because John Giles said it was the worst Ireland squad ever. It meant that was true, but then because John Giles said Coleman was class, that's not true. So I don't know what you're talking about here, Mr. Stone.
Yeah. That's a bit of a weird one. Jack O'Connor. Connor, I respect you, I really do. Top opinions on the game, but you let yourself down, though, son. Free speech is a basic human right, and you are trying to deny Mon his right to free speech. I think really the context of the clip, as I've said at the start of the show, is it was a clip of the thing that he shouldn't be on it anymore. It was a kind of in jest, wasn't it? I think, just that he's very negative about Irish football all the time, and seriously holds a grudge with Keith Andrews. And yeah, I can understand what he was saying about Keith Andrews, but it's just very constant. And everything Irish related, I find with Martin O'Neill is very, very negative, and that's what we are saying. We're not saying ban him and being serious about banning him. He works for TalkSport. He's an experienced European Cup. I think he won 2 European Cups, didn't he?
Did he? Yeah.
I think he did. Yeah. Experienced manager, achieved great things with Ireland 2016. Not knocking him. Had some fantastic times watching Ireland under Martin O'Neill. Didn't miss many games, to be honest. So loved it under O'Neill and Keane. But it went wrong at the end, and we know that. But I just find it's a very strange narrative to be so negative about Irish football ever since. And it's biting at like Stephen Kenny, Keith Andrews, anyone who dares to criticise him. He's criticised players. He fell out with players as well, Martin O'Neill. Let's not forget that. He made some baffling decisions towards the end. Put Cyrus Christie in centre midfield ahead of other midfielders in the squad, which was just crazy. What does that say to your midfielders in your squad? It shows you it was at the end. He was just doing all these weird things, pissing people off. And let's not, I've not liked how he was ever. I'm having a rant now, Connor. I'm going to get their views this week. But he was very condescending towards Tony O'Donoghue whenever he was interviewed after the games. Never let anything go with that. Even at I think it was the
draw for the Nations
the draw. Yeah, fantastic clip. Who put that up?
Bill, Mr. Irish Football
Bill put it up. Yeah, Irish Football Blog. Bill put that up, and that's just watch that alone to see how he treats Tony O'Donoghue. It's outrageous, to be honest. And like saying you weren't you weren't being smart there, were you, or something like that? I can't
remember when he said hard luck.
Yeah, hard luck and stuff. He didn't get along with the Irish media. We know that. I think you can call him out for some of those things when it went wrong, but we're not saying basic. We're not denying anybody free speech. We're running
we
a
are.
bloody
Oh,
show
we
here.
are.
We're having a chat with you.
we
No, we're having a chat with you here, aren't we? Well, I've been accused of censoring comments before. I'm not going to put up stuff when, you know,
saying did before.
Shite. I did have to say that before. And everyone, oh, you're going to censor us and stuff. Look, we want to hear from you, the Raw faithful, as long as it's sensible comments. To be honest, and
you're getting volatile.
You're entitled to your opinion. I am getting volatile. But yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to Martin O'Neill on what is it, White and Jordan.
Could you imagine it? Could you imagine it's pulled up and it's the two of us pulled up on it and they call us out about these two? These two idiots.
Yeah, is that outrageous?
That'll be some laugh.
Anyway, I'd love to go on it and chat to him.
I would.
I would for me, but I would just say, like,
I would do.
He has been like that. Like, like I would say, fantastic. I've met the man. He's a very intelligent guy, but I just think the whole narrative of negativity is no need for it. Rolling Stone, was anyone here fooled by a performance against Senegal? Okay. I'm just having a click through because we have chatted about this. Winston Morrison, that post from Parrott is mad. Are these ballers just in an echo chamber or something? Man's proudly showing off that he's partying with the far right final boss. Okay. We are. See, I'm not censoring. Right. Oshin, waffling about women's football, Connor. Haha, you know nothing, kid. I don't think you've ever claimed to know, Connor. I mean, you do follow it a little bit, but not an expert. I don't think we pretend to be, but we do cover it because Ireland are playing. We want to see them win at anything. Tony in LA, welcome, Tony. Good to see you again. Regular viewer of the show. Hi, lads. Is Melia at Spurs this September or next September?
January.
Is it January? Yeah.
Yeah, he turns 18 September.
Is he missing pre-season with Enfield Town? He's not going to Enfield Town.
Enfield Town.
But when I said that.
Yeah, you clown. He'll be in for when Tottenham are in the knockouts of the Champions League.
Oh, yeah. Scuzzy just confirms that as well. Tony in LA, he moves in January. Harrison Daglish. Hi, Harrison. Hi, lads. Is the minuscule development surrounding transfer activity regarding Irish players worrying? Well, we can have a look at the tracker bar below. It's not minuscule. We've got content on it there, haven't we? We're filling that page. I think we may see another season of Finn Azaz and Knight playing in the second division, meaning Championship. Both of them will move, won't they?
I think Azaz will definitely get a move. I think Azaz, especially, I think Palace probably looks the most likely, and looks like Eze could be on his way to Arsenal. Yeah, I think we're very unlikely.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think Azaz probably is the most likely of the two. I think that Knight, I would argue, is still more likely than not the Knight moves. But I'd say of the two, Azaz is probably the most likely.
Yeah. Okay. Andrew asked, any news on G. Howley in United's under-19 development squad?
I think Andrew's referring to the lad that he does a podcast with as St. Pat's fans. So I think so. I think that's who that is. It's definitely not a football.
Rolling Stone, the insults are really flying tonight, and foreigners always say that we are such polite and well-mannered people. Perhaps they are being ironic.
We're well-mannered when we're well-mannered to us, not Irish people. When it comes to Irish people, when it comes to Irish people, we hate each other.
And then Nick, this is the follow-up. We were chatting a little bit about the under-21 final. Paul Nebel looks a bit too good not to get called up for Germany, unfortunately.
Really?
Harrison follows that up by saying, who is Nebel? I did see some chat around him in Telegram chat group. Sure, if he is scoring an under-21 final, then we may as well forget it.
It's going to be very hard for him to get in the Germany squad. Germany squad is very, very talented in them positions.
And Rolling Stone says, Nebel is the German who, according to the FBI, is rumoured to be going out with a woman who allegedly is in possession of an Irish burial at the minute. And he has an Irish granny, is confirmed by Nick. Brendan Keeley. Hi, Brendan. Hope all well. Greetings from Krakow, boys. Hi, Brendan. Hope all well.
Hope he's having a few mojitos.
He was one of our very famous. Was he our 2000? What was he? He was a subscriber.
2,300.
Yeah, there you go. So
not illegal.
Not illegal, no.
Maybe it might be illegal.
Make sure you are watching along. Over nearly 2,500 watching on a Monday evening. Incredible. Thanks you again for your support. But make sure you have subscribed, like the page,
and share
our posts,
like the video.
like the video, do all the other stuff that I don't really understand as a host. But yeah, Connor knows how that gets things noticed, and I think that is a true reflection of your rant, wasn't it? That got lots of likes and lots of interaction, and that's why it got sent to Martin O'Neill on WhatsApp groups. And
it definitely has one. Definitely has one. Hope it has been. Hope it has been.
Who are you? Who are you? Maybe he's got a burner account as a, and it's just, yeah. Nick says not much chance of Nebel playing for us now, though. And then Rolling Stone said this is in relation to having an Irish granny. We saw with Tony Cascarino that you don't even need one. Circumstances of that are completely wrong there. That developed after time, didn't it? A fantastic book, one of the best football books, autobiographies I've ever read, is Tony Cascarino's Full Time. Really, really good. Brutally honest, but amazing. Very funny as well, which you'd expect. So, yeah, I enjoyed that one. This is Winston Morrison. Oba is locked in. Pre-season impact loading. Getting the Burnley team, and he's our starting 9 in September.
Hopefully he does train. I see he's training hard pre-season. Hopefully he's really locked in now and sorted himself out to become. I don't know. He definitely probably won't be playing for Burnley, but he's still on a contract. But it'll be interesting where he goes because he's such a waste of talent if he doesn't make it of his career at this stage.
And we spoke earlier about, I was saying about how on TalkSport in England that they were talking about speculating that would Lee Carsley be getting a knighthood following in the footsteps of Gareth Southgate, who recently was knighted. And Alistair Jacks just commented on that, under 21 manager knighted, for fuck's sake. And Rolling Stone, it's not so laughable when you think the serial loser Southgate got a knighthood. At least Carsley has won something. Winston
Which is fair.
Morrison.
It's a fair point.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah. Winston says, what's the story with Teo? Is he going back with Bradford?
Rolling Stone answered it.
And
next comment.
And Rolling Stone says, no, he's going back to where he came from, the crisp factory.
Jesus, Rolling Stone.
And then Rory, go on.
I don't know. I'm not. I'd imagine he'll probably go back on loan to Bradford. I don't know if he'll stay with Palace for pre-season or not. But I've seen Darragh McAnthony, the Peterborough chairman, saying on their Peterborough podcast that they tried to sign Teo on loan for this season, but Palace basically told him he's going to a different League One club on loan, or they basically said no to Peterborough anyway. So he'll definitely probably go to a League One club, but I don't know who. Unless he can tear it up in pre-season and come into Palace first team, because he is a excellent talent.
Yeah. And then we're just Rory McDonald saying Everton wouldn't touch Ferguson, would just stop. And that was us speculating, would he go there? Rolling Stone says they must think they can kiss his patella tendon better. And Harrison says Ferguson's been on holiday for 12 months.
That's
Nick says Everton would be a poor move. Get him in a lesser league, intense league, just for a season or two. And then Rolling Stone's dead right. His patella tendon needs rest. Ireland's football and future prospects depend on it. Evan Ferguson needs to go to Lords.
Does anyone have the cure of the patella tendon? Or the pantella tendon?
I was in pressures on Ferguson now, no excuses. This is an interesting one. Kieran Leog was at the gate for the Senegal match. From my phone was having issues with the tap for the 3 I was with. Obviously, we ended up getting handed tickets by fans with extra. Irish fans or something else. So that's just obviously some of the issues getting into the stadium.
That's a good touch. Game. Good touch.
Yeah. Well, we always do look after ourselves, so fair play. Here's one for you, John O'Mahony. How will Mark O'Mahony, Conor Shaughnessy, and Darragh Lenihan get on the season? Are they good enough for Ireland? Darragh Lenihan, that surely just shit's out there, isn't it?
He was injured for about 18 months there, so he's still under contract at Middlesbrough. He kind of came back in their squad towards the end of the season. Hopefully, he can get a fully fit pre-season behind him and get back in the Middlesbrough team, and then you kind of see if we're there, because a full year, I think it was 18 months he's missed, is a long, long time. So Shaughnessy was brilliant last season in League One, or not last season, season 4 reports, but he was probably one of the best in the league. And then this season he missed a lot of time with injury. So I don't know. I didn't really see him in the Championship because he was injured most of the time. And then Oman, it's too early to say whether he's going to be good enough for long term, but long term, he'll definitely be in the 21s. And himself and Mason Melia will probably be the two fighting out to be the number 9 for the 21s, or even playing together. So it's great options to have at the 21s level.
Okay, there you go. That's why you've got to follow himself at Rep Tracker. All the latest news on Irish footballers, all there.
Fact.
Daily updates. Lots of updates from you recently as well. I've had to turn off the notifications when I'm at work. Just trying to get. Well, it's either that or get a voice note from you and Dave. I just don't know how to keep up with it. Might as well live with you. Got 3 kids, and it's like having another 2. And I get told off for not communicating.
Dave doesn't communicate anymore.
Yeah. Owen Brosnan, Parrott to Brentford, surely. Yeah, I was talking about that. It's going to be interesting.
Vista and Mbeumo go. I don't know. Kevin Chad is still there, but it could be an option.
Yep. Parrott and Evan, link them up
at Brentford.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring them to London. We'll look after them, Connor.
God love him.
It's a hard watch. This Connor. The Celtics.
Sorry, Celtic.
Monaco announcing Pogba and David Dunn back to back some week for them, says Nick.
Fact.
Have I ever seen Phone Jacker? Is a question asked of me. No. Do I look like him or something? Is that what it is?
No, it must be a movie, is it?
Huh?
Is it a movie? Phone Jacker?
Yeah. It's the guy up it, I think. So with Symphony, is Jimmy Dunn joining FC Monaco? No, Jimmy Dunn has extended his. Oh, Jimmy Dunn, that's what he's talking about. David Dunn. No, he's extended his contract with QPR.
David Dunn is under Monaco.
Yeah. Anything on the Bohemians Oasis collaboration announced in the morning? Take it. It's a jersey. They do love a shirt.
So, yeah. I did see that. Did you see that, Martin? There was a leaked thing on Twitter. It was like the Bose X Oasis. It'd be funny though if it came out it was Oasis the drink. I seen someone made a jersey with the sponsor and put it the Oasis drink.
Brilliant.
But
Brilliant.
Yeah, hopefully it's a nice jersey because it will. If it is nice, which they always tend to do, Bose in fairness, it will sell unbelievably well. So, will hopefully.
Clever with that, aren't they? Bose do very well with that.
They're the best. One of the best teams, probably the best team in Europe in terms of being creative with their jerseys and doing stuff that will sell well. So hopefully it is. Hopefully it's more meaningful than like the Bob Marley one they had, which was a bit random.
And so it's something. Prendy saying we can't have an opinion, can we? Sarcastically, but you guys were calling for limited Mons free speech. Jokes write themselves. Okay. All right.
Sorry, Celtic.
Sorry about that. Be funny if Brentford batter United were keen on punditry. Could happen. David Dunn, I know Celtic. Awful stuff. I'm sorry. Is this Lansdowne Raw or Lansdowne Silenced? Jesus, who is that lad? He must have got a bit of Wi-Fi from somewhere, did he?
He's been banned from this.
Yeah, we can block people on this now as well. Rolling Stone, Roy Keane sounds like a failed comedian whenever he talks about football. Right, here we go. Martin, where would you recommend getting a ticket for the home hungry game for me and my family? My family cannot commit to the bundle. Heard ticket swap was good. I would just advise on that look, we look after each other, Irish fans, and if you can't commit to, and I understand people can't commit to this package. I don't know how well it's been thought through, to be honest, but that's what they're doing. They've decided to do it. There will be tickets available. There will be from people who just aren't able to go. Now, I know that's difficult for you as your family. If you're obviously 4 of you to get, can you get 4 together? I would just stay in contact with pages like us, or where we will obviously share information, but maybe supporters clubs as well, because they will have tickets available just from people who can't go, and that's your best chance. I don't know about any of the ticket swap and things like that. The FAI have said, though, as far as I'm aware, they're not going to sell games individually for games. That's why they've done the triple package. But I would expect what they will do, depending on sales, if it's not been going very well, you'll be able to buy individually in premium level, but they're going to be quite expensive. So that's just something to bear in mind. Hope that helps. So with Symphony, Phillips is the worst Irish player ever, and I keep seeing him on my Facebook talking shite, capitalising on his Ireland appearance. A tough crowd. If only I was as funny as Roy Keane. Patrick Murphy. The only people banging on about Keane and O'Neill is you two. Andrews won't give a toss. No, we weren't saying it in the context of Andrews. We were just saying he's very negative. I find on whenever he talks about Ireland on TalkSport, he's just extremely negative. That's all.
Yeah, he talks shit.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about earlier. Keane on the overlap will give digs and stuff. We know that. Keane, if it's going to be interesting to see when the overlap restarts, how they address the teaser for the Saipan movie, which everyone's going to have an opinion on as well, of course. And that's just going to be something that they're going to have to look at, I suppose, and how that's going to be. Keane's just going to be funny on that, isn't he? I think so. That's going to be released, I think, September, October. So you probably have all seen the teaser. We did share it, so do check us out on thingy. Freddie Simpson's calling me out here. Opinions on Jack Moylan, Martin. I don't know who Jack Moylan is. Tell me, Connor. Who is he?
Plays for Lincoln. Excellent player. As my good mate Cornell calls him, Jack Messi Moylan, the Irish Messi. So he's a brilliant player. He was injured for a good bit last season, but he actually is. He's a player that won't be long until he's playing in the Championship.
And then you can clip this and say Martin didn't know who he was. And I won't care because I'm like probably 80% of Irish football fans who go to games, and I've been at games and they haven't even realised who's playing in midfield. Some fans that I've been there with, and that's not just from having a beer, it's just some fans just follow Ireland regardless of who's actually on the field. Potentially, so Scuzzy depends on his management skills, and this is, I think, talk about Andrews, I think.
Yeah.
Aaron Gubbins. Well, lads, great show as always. Is there any news on Stade Reims getting back up to League One?
There hasn't been anything since we talked about it last week, Martin. Since if Lyon go down, they go up. But I did see it was the Bradley Barcola move that he went from Lyon to PSG last summer, and PSG played the money they owed up front to try and help them with their case. For when they go and appeal it. So I don't know. I think it's still very up in the air whether Lyon stay up or not. But I do wonder though, is because if they paid that money, that might be a thing. If you get that money, you do stay up. But hopefully, for the Irish football's sake, hopefully Stade Reims stay up.
Yeah. And also ask you, is there any news on Knight moving? It's time he moves up to the Premier League now. I mean, any concrete links with anybody there?
No, it's just been Everton. Really, it's been the one that's been the really only concrete one so far. But maybe you could go to Brentford.
Yeah, I mean, look, we keep talking about Brentford this evening, so yeah. And also, sorry, this is Aaron says, where do you want Azaz?
Sorry, I just read that comment from Celtic. Palace probably. I think go replace Eze.
Yeah. Azaz, so for Brentford, I know this is turning to the Brentford show, but any good there?
He'd do anyway.
They're gonna have a he would do anyway. Aaron Gubbins, Ferguson should go to Brentford. There you go. We'll get those games under Andrews. Also, in Bueno is leaving. Wouldn't be surprised if he was to go to his class. There was some partnership.
Yep.
I don't have to believe in everything John Giles says. Do you expect you're being intellectual?
Are you underwater, Martin?
Am I underwater? No, why?
No, you sounded like you were underwater there talking into your mic there a second ago.
I don't have to agree with everything John Giles says. Do you expect you are being intellectually honest using that argument? Good lawyer tactic. Well, I am a lawyer, so I'm going to use that argument. People will never know what I do.
I think he's referring to me anyway. I was the one who said that.
Yeah. Okay, you then. Right. William Nevin, since when does anyone care about what is said on TalkSport? Okay.
No.
Aaron Gubbins, who will win the Football All Ireland, Connor? Also, have you any interest in the hurling coming from a Clare man last year, All Ireland champs? This is
Martin, go on. You tell me who's going to win the All Ireland first, and I'll tell you who's going to win it.
The football. Kerry win the football, and Kilkenny win the hurling. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Fantastically brilliant in the 2000s. That was a regular double bet.
I actually think Kerry will win the football. I think Kerry Donegal final in the football, and I just watched the hurling. I don't have a huge interest in hurling because it wouldn't be the biggest sport in Monaghan now. But Monaghan bottled it the weekend against Donegal. But yeah, I think Kerry Donegal final. I think Kerry will win.
Yeah. That was incredible. I saw little clips of that yesterday. I mean, I don't follow the football too much, although son plays it. But the hurling, mad Kilkenny. That's what it's about. Rory McDonald, do you think O'Neill would have seen your rant? Do you think he watched it every night? You're right, Martin. O'Neill is a highly intelligent man, much more than the people slating him.
Wow.
It's called being passive aggressive, Connor.
Sorry, Roland.
Yeah. This is talking about Nebel, Germany. Nick says he'll probably get a few odd caps here and there when players like Musiala are injured. He would get tons of caps for us, though. And I mean, he did speak, didn't he? But he did speak to me about like eligibility for Ireland and that he was quite honoured to be considered and things like that. But seeing how it goes with Germany. But one thing as well, watching that final, I'm going to be a broken record on this. Germany's, I know Adidas is German, right? Their stuff's just brilliant, though, isn't it? Their kit is just incredible. Everything they have is brilliant. I'm absolutely distraught that we've still got Castore. And do have a look on. There's loads of stuff on sale. Raw Faithful, if you are an Ireland fan, loads of the recent merchandise. I don't know how they launched this. I'm seeing stuff that I never saw launched before, and it's all on sale now. But there's loads of jackets and tops and things like that. Ireland stuff. Castore. I think they are doing a. I don't know. Jesus Christ, they're doing one of them on it. Showing just bringing out this stuff and selling it, some of these sample stuff. But we've seen that before. Rolling Stone, it's a comedy. Oh, this is about Phone Hacker. It's a comedy prank phone prank comedy. Nobody has ever heard it back in the day, while Bo Selector by that ginger tosser was laughed at by Moran's lowbrow humour at its finest.
What's he said about me?
What's this? That's what I think he's on about. I don't know what he's on about. I think that's, I don't know. He's on about Bo Selector, that lad.
Someone, Rolling Stone, you need put down, man.
Oren News, thoughts on the rumours of Evan Ferguson joining Liverpool. And he also says, huge fan of you, Connor. Sorry. I think he must have, keep up the good work. You're a credit.
But a banana.
I think he's missed out saying how great I am. And nothing about that. Yeah, I get that all the time. Who asked me when we were in Luxembourg? Someone said, will you be disappointed if England don't win the World Cup? Were you there when that happened? No. No. I come over for 365 Ireland fans to watch Ireland for the glory. He seems to be a decent chap, says Rolling Stone. I don't know who that's about. Aaron Gibbons, probably a one for me here. How do you get tickets for Ireland versus Portugal in Lisbon? Are they out? They're not out yet. They probably will be in the Portugal end, but don't do it. Ireland will get hopefully enough. Do set up an account on FAI away portal. You can set that up now. You need your passport details. Set up a profile. And when you apply for tickets, if you're successful in future, that will get allocated against your profile. You'll build up a bit of a record with the FAI of going to games. And that's how you get tickets. If it's not subscribed, you'll be successful. So hopefully that will be of interest to you. And that's going to be the same for all of these away Ireland games. So that's what we're at. Rory McDonald, surprised you don't know who Moylan is. And Rory says he was quality in the league. I don't watch our League of Ireland show as much as I should do.
He played in the League of Ireland about 3 years ago.
And don't follow the League of Ireland basically too much till they disgracefully treated Kilkenny City that way, or Kilkenny City pulled out. Whatever happened there. So yeah, that would be my limited knowledge of the League of Ireland, to be honest, Rory. But that's just being upfront and honest. That's what you get from me, not snidey little comments digging out legendary managers like some people. Aaron Gubbins, I can't believe I've been killed by you. Aaron Gubbins, is Colin staying at Brentford? Would like to see him go to Spurs, Champions League football under a manager who really liked him. Yeah, we did talk about that previously. Could that happen? Yeah.
My worry now, Martin, what I see, which Brentford will probably try to do, particularly with an Irish manager, Keith Andrews, Christian Norgard, club captain, is going out the door. Perfect opportunity to make Nathan Collins the club captain.
Yeah. I can see that. And then it's a difficult one, isn't it? Leaving a captain. And they will have a tough season compared to last season if they don't get the recruitment right. And then it can be a battle. Could easily be a relegation battle without them goals and whatever else. I mean, the goalkeeper situation, hopefully that's sorted as well. But, it could be a really tough season. But, you'd hope that it's not going to be that for Keith Andrews. I want him to do well, ultimately. Rolling Stone, when just talking to Aaron about his loyalty, wanting to watch Ireland abroad, like many of us do. Why would you want to go and witness that morning, Aaron? Are you a sadist? It's kind of what we do, though, isn't it? We follow Ireland around the world, and we have our days in the sun. Moyland joined Lincoln last year, Connor, not 3 years ago. Bye.
Oh, she was last year, yeah. But sometimes things feel like so long ago. He last played the League of Ireland 2 years ago, so it was 2023 was the last time he played the League of Ireland. So
yeah,
what's 1 year?
Yeah, and then apart from their football team is what Rolling Stone says.
Good laugh in Lisbon. You had a good few days. Lisbon crack, wouldn't you, Martin?
Yeah, good. Yeah, all booked up. I can't wait to go to that one. Not been to Lisbon, been to Portugal to watch Ireland a few times. So yeah, really looking forward to it. It'll be good. We'll get a good allocation. Nice kind of, obviously not nice part of the world and stuff. Always get a good warm welcome. It's not too expensive. Good transport links, everything like that. So yeah, looking forward to going to that one. We're all booked now, aren't we? So we're just getting ourselves set. Oh no, mate, you won't be. You'll be lastminute.com. But yeah, we will obviously be covering all those games. The qualification campaign starts in September with Ireland, of course. And looking forward to the games in Dublin and away to Hungary, Armenia, and Portugal, of course. And then
Rolling Stone has a message for all the gingers out there.
Yeah. He meant Lee Francis. And I have nothing against gingers as long as they aren't Chris Evans or Lee Evans. Lee Francis, I think he must mean. Lee Evans isn't ginger, is he? Lee Francis, there you go. He said so at the end. Rory says, when's the next stream? We will let you know. You know how you get to find out about that, Connor? About when our next streams are?
You follow the
How'd
socials.
You get notified? No, Connor. No. You subscribe, Connor, and you turn on the notifications, and it tells you when we put these things out there. And you go,
but if you want to know, if you want to know a couple of days in advance.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get subscribers here, Connor, using all tactics I can.
It's a bit of both.
Right, 2,500 watching here this evening. Thank you so much for your support of the #1 Irish football podcast out there. Match going fans, for the fans, by the fans. We do appreciate your support for the fans, for Martin O'Neill, and all our followers. We do really appreciate your support. Do keep that going. Please like the video. Please make sure you have subscribed. Share the love. Let people know that there's an Irish football podcast out there which lets you have a voice. We spoke about TalkSport this evening. They do give their followers and listeners a voice. We do that online with YouTube, with our YouTube weekly videos, live ones, and we also do other content as well that we get out there. We've got some incredible interviews coming up, especially the one with David Ford. We had a great day out with him recently, so we'll be getting that out. You can also buy copies of the book, Being the One. We've got a very special deal on that as well, supporting a charity. We raised over £500 in London at our live show, which again will be coming out live as a podcast as well. So do subscribe. If you listen to us on Spotify or whatever platforms for your podcast, please also subscribe on those and give us a review. It does a 5-star review, especially, and do give us your feedback as well. We want to hear if you want to give us your thoughts on any particular topics you want us to discuss. A bit of nostalgia if you want us to talk about specific games from the past, or give us exclusive kind of views on a breaking player coming through the ranks that Connor doesn't know about. Just get in touch on all our social media platforms and DM us. But we appreciate your support this evening. Connor, thanks very much for your time. And
Aaron Gibbons said, and answer that question is yes.
Oh, will we be doing lots of build-ups for the World Cup qualifiers? Yes, we will cover all of this. If you're new to the pod, we do preview shows right up to the games. We do shows around the announcement of the squad. We cover the press conferences with the FAI. We've got access to those fantastic press conferences as well. Connor's been sent up to Dublin for a day out. We let him off the leash and off he goes. And he asks the questions of our senior manager or John O'Shea, whoever is on international duty that day. We go to the matches. We do a pre-game show before the game, obviously, where we talk about the team announcement. We get your views on that. So that's a live and interactive show as well. And right on the final whistle as well, the lads are in the stadium getting your thoughts on what the Ireland performance held for that this evening. So for that evening. So do appreciate your support. Make sure you subscribe and you'll get all that content. But yeah, we're looking forward to bringing you lots and lots of content coming forward for a really, really big year for Irish football, obviously, as we head off to the World Cup next year. As Heimer said, we are keeping the faith with Heimer. And we're going off to the World Cup, aren't we, Connor? We can't wait. Make sure as well, if you are traveling to these games, little message on that. Make sure you have got your passport in date as well. That's just a little tip. I was checking that. No, someone checked it to me today, actually. Sent me details. Well, I might not be able to do it. So you've banned and removed the comments of Dave. I've just seen.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for your support, everybody. We will catch up with you very soon.